happening. Hope we are in the right place, doing the right thing. I don't know. We'll put this down here because it ain't enough. Let me make sure we live. Hey, how y'all doing? This is Late Night with the Riches, where we turn the lights off and transparency on. I am gonna make sure that we are live on YouTube because we only stream it on YouTube. So we need y'all to mosey on over there and get the YouTube. I know we told these people on Facebook that they need to get the YouTube. Come on now. All right, let's go. I think it's showing that we live. All right. Welcome to Late Night with the Riches. I'm Damon Rich.
I'm Tamika Rich.
And we are just like I said, it's lights off, transparency on. We have two very special guests, our first ever guest on Late Night with the Riches, because we're doing something new. We have the Broxtons with us. I know her as Carol. I'm sorry, I didn't get I didn't get to call her the other name, and then
Shell.
Shell. Oh yeah, Shell for short, and also Dr. Broxton because we're gonna talk a little bit about that. And then we have the cane hater, Mr. Vergus. I'm not gonna go out to the coral reef and get stuck again because I can't stand Broxton. No, Miss Vergus Broxton. We are so glad to have you guys on with us tonight. And we're super excited to have a conversation. Y'all are one of our favorite couples for real. We love you guys.
Yes.
And y'all have been rocking this thing for like 22 years, right?
Yeah, it's 20. It'll be 23 in September on September the 9th. It'll be
Oh, okay.
23 years.
Awesome.
You sound like one of them parents that say, my child is 18 months. 22 years. No. Y'all
when
close.
it's that close, I do the same thing.
Yes, she do. She start rounding up. She start rounding up. Right. We in October will be 25 for us. So
you might as well go ahead.
so
And
she
say
rounding
25.
up. We've been married for almost that long. 22 years in a day and age where I think the statistics say the average marriage lasts about 7 years. I think that's what the stats say. I didn't even look it up. And y'all three times that. How does it feel inching up on 23 years?
Well, for me, it just feels like we just started all over again. I mean, we started from a young age. I mean, we've been kind of dating for a whole lot longer than 23 years. I think it was maybe about 28 years we've been dating. I met her when I was in 11th grade. So it just
Oh, wow.
still never feels different. It feels kind of like it's yesterday.
It, okay, Miss Broxton, could you tell us how this been feeling? Uh, he sounded like he had a fairy tale script there. Go ahead. Could you tell us?
Yeah. Well, I know where it's coming from. It does feel like yesterday because it's like now we're in our 40s and it's like, where did the time go? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow, it does feel like yesterday. Like I remember the day that we got married and how I was feeling. And then now it's like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
that 22 years has passed. It just kind of seemed unreal that life just kind of went it was just so fast.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I can feel that. I'm giving Virgis a hard time. He knows he's supposed to been done came on with me and did some husband talk, and he always be talking about he ready, and then I be like, "Come on, man. Well, I ain't ready yet. Come on, bro. Come on. You ready or you ain't? You ready to sit in the hot seat or you ain't? You know." So 20. So y'all got married. Y'all were how old were we? 20,
2 and 23.
22 and 23. So y'all got married around that same time frame. Y'all were 20 and 22.
Yep, I was 20.
And I was 22.
Yeah.
Okay. She
As a
made.
matter of fact, I had just turned 22
Yeah.
because my birthday is September the 6th. So we
Yeah.
got married 3 days after my birthday. So I just turned 22.
So how she rolled up on you, man? Because I know she had to pull for you. How she rolled up on you? No, I'm teasing with you. How this thing kicked off? How this thing kicked off at that? Like, take us from like the dating to
Mhm.
when you were like, I think we want to do this forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Wait,
You
you
go.
want to tell the story
Yeah,
of
you
me?
go ahead and tell your version of the story. Let's see.
So where it
Why
goes
this
around,
always
it's
go
like
that way?
Because
three
it's
different
always two
versions.
versions,
Three
right?
different versions.
Yeah.
Well,
Say your
my
side.
version is I was I was going to a I started coming to the church, and I saw a set of girls. I say that much. I saw a set of girls, and that I was looking at, and I saw this one girl named Michelle, and I just the first appearance of her, I was like, wow, she got some big eyes. And so when I, so and she just looked it very mean. Like if I talk to her, she just gonna give me the business. So I don't. I just
So you were
and
scared of
so
me?
well, in a ways I would, in a ways, but in general, I said she's a nice looking girl. And then my thing was she was always kind of tall, taller than the average girl. And I thought, I always said, man, I want me somebody to play basketball. I wanted an athlete or something like that. And I thought that she played some type of sport, but and so when I met her through a friend of ours that I went to school with. Her name, we kind of met in high school, and she knew her from the church and all. And I just started talking to her and asking her, "Well, who is that girl you with?" And she was like, "That's my girl Michelle." And so she was like, "You want to talk to her or whatever?" And I was like, I was kind of shy. So I just kind of backed away from it. And eventually I, I asked for her number, and I got a number, and she called during the time when I was in summer school, and she would call one time a day. She would call just one time, and when she would call, she never would call back. My dad, I would come off the bus. He said, "Some girl named Michelle called you." I said, "Well, did she leave a number?" He was like, "No." I was like, and so I sat by the phone all day waiting on her to call me back. And
That's
the
gay.
crazy
I did want
thing was,
to gay.
yeah, but another crazy thing is she would when she would because I didn't know who her mom was. I
uh,
thought her aunt was her mom. And I knew the last name, so I got the phone book, the yellow pages that used to come to the house. And
Yes.
I went in there and they had Crawfordville and all that stuff. And I called almost every Wilson in the book looking for her. I did it. I went in there and Wilson's. I just kept just dialing phone numbers and just calling, but I never did find her. And then one day I came home and she called right when I got to the door. So, and that was the first time we talked. And she was like, her first conversation was, "Well, tell me about yourself." And I just was like, I don't know, I just kind of fell in love already because
Mhm.
her voice, she had one of those voices on the phone. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, she just, she is so beautiful on the phone. And so we just started from there. And we ain't even talk about nothing on the telephone.
oh my goodness. So Michelle, how accurate is that story?
He did pretty good.
He did
He
pretty
did
good.
he did pretty good. I'm gonna give him credit. He did do pretty good.
Okay.
So for me, when I saw him, I seen him. He was attractive and he was tall. I liked that. And then when we got on the phone, what I liked, I saw him attracted to him. But when we actually got on the phone and talked, what got my attention was that I I said he was a nerd. He was real corny. And so, when we say not talking about anything, like literally for hours, we would just talk about his Florida High. He went to Florida High versus Wakulla High, just ours. Our volleyball team is better than yours, or your football team is. We would just talk about really nothing, but it was just so nice to have a guy to talk to that was just silly and goofy and nerdy, and from there we just hit it off, and it was like we became like best friends. Just talking, we could just talk about nothing or how we felt or just anything. Just feel like we just been friends our whole life. We just clicked. We just clicked.
Wow. Wow. Now that's awesome. That's awesome. Like in nearly 22 years and y'all started like at that young age. A lot of people look at young marriage and me and Tamika had this debate for a while and she like, I think we got married too young, right? And I was like, nah,
Mhm.
I don't think we did. Um, I don't know where she stands on where you stand on that today.
I've changed that some. I don't say it was so
So
much. It wasn't so much the age. I think for me it was like we didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would have liked to have known a little bit more than I did at that age or at that point to just kind of fully jump in and go, yeah, let's do it. But I've always kind of been that person or a risk taker, so
risk taker. I was a risk, y'all. I was a risk. You heard it here first. I was a risk. I was risque. I guess that's the word that came. I'm a risk.
no,
Uh,
not so much a risk, but something that you truly don't. And we've talked about this too. And I think that day it clicked, which we were already married at this point. But Elder Morris, when we actually had our wedding, um, when he started reading the vows and he goes, um, what was it? Not so much for better or worse, but it was oh, don't enter, this is not to be entered into lightly,
lightly.
marriage. And so there was like, oh, are we entering this lightly or have we actually sought out everything? That we get the counsel we need, all of the things that we need or lessons to not take this lightly, to enter into this forever ever covenant,
Yeah.
and not even really understanding, and we've talked about this too, on what that covenant really entails or what that covenant is
Yeah.
or was.
And it's challenging. I think even from church. I think church does a horrible job of teaching marriage. But also here's one of those trivia questions we'll throw at the Broxons.
Okay.
Name a good marriage in the Bible.
Um,
Mm.
good marriage in the Bible.
Think of all the marriages you can think of in the Bible. Which one of them was
Oh.
Oh.
good?
That's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. You chew on that because you ain't gonna find it. Because I don't know that there, especially by today's standard, I don't know if there was ever a good marriage in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
So I think that that's a
We definitely know there was no perfect marriage.
yeah. There's never a perfect marriage. The only good marriage in the Bible, and it's raggedy, is between Christ and the church, and it
Yeah.
don't get better till later, right? Because it's
Yeah.
raggedy. We down here doing our own thing, whatever. So, what's a good marriage in the Bible? It's kind of challenging to say that and stuff. So that is like been the thing for us. So when y'all think about now getting married, if you look at it in hindsight, would you have done anything different? Would you have still gotten married this young? Would you have did something different? What's your outside of just blind love? What made y'all do it that young?
From my standpoint, it was we had a child together, and I just wanted to be around my daughter. I knew that this was the woman that I wanted to be with, and I wanted to raise her with her. Um, Now, looking in hindsight, some things that I would have done differently is, I think it was said earlier, is to just know a little bit more about what marriage was. When I first came into marriage, we had two different views on different things. Um, I grew up in a home where when I got paid my paycheck, I thought I could spend my money the way I wanted to spend it. And finances was really a big issue when we got married, because those habits that I had with before I got married, I didn't really deal with those things, and it went into the marriage. So I kind of went in. It didn't really. We didn't have much. We had that 1 bedroom house, and I mean apartment. And her views was she was more of a saver. She was like, "We got to save. We got to save." And I was like, "Hey, I'm making the money. I want to buy me a pair of tennis shoes. I can buy me a pair of tennis shoes." So, but I think that that was just knowing more about. It's not about me versus it's about the family. It's about me, her, and at that time it was the child. So that's some things I would have done differently. It's just get a little bit more about knowledge of what marriage really is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that. Yeah, and I add to that also it has a lot to do with our upbringing. So I grew up with a single parent. So my mom, we were put in a position that we had. She was very honest with me at a young age. We had to save, we had to budget, we had to plan because it was a two-parent home. But he grew up in a two-parent home, so there were things he didn't have to even hear about or see about because mom and dad pretty much took care of everything. So when he had a part-time job, he could spend his money the way he wanted to. He didn't you don't have to worry about bills and what's going on in a household. He didn't have to have those kind of conversations with his parents. He was just kind of like, hey, mom and dad takes care of the household, and as a kid, I just get to kind of be free, have fun, do my thing. Well, for me, I came in that the strong black woman era with my mom, and so I had to at a very young age. She didn't try to hide things from me. She was like, look, I don't have the money to do many things, and the things that you want to do, you're gonna have to get an education to better your life and to do well in life. And so our perspective on money was so different. For him, he enjoyed, money should be enjoyed. But for me, it was like, no, you got to hold on to it. You got to hold, you can't enjoy money. Even if we have money, I'd be like, oh, let's not have fun. I want to have fun. I want to see the money in the account. I want to go have fun and a good time. And I had to learn that over the years, like, it's okay to spend money on the things that you want. It's okay. Like, the world's not going to end if you go have fun and spend your money and take a vacation or a trip and not worry about, like, okay, we spent that money, because something go wrong. We'll need it later. And so that's the things that we had to kind of learn along the way, especially with finances, because I'm trying to save and I'm getting anxiety, and he's like, oh, everything's fine. It's gonna work out. Everything's gonna come together. Don't worry about it. So when you have those two different perspectives and upbringing, those are the things you have to kind of work through and work out in your marriage. So
Right.
that's one thing you have to consider, and that's why premarital counseling is important before you get married, and also counseling after you get married, because a lot of people
Yeah.
may get it before, and you go in with this idea of what marriage is, but the reality hits you once you say I do. You try to bring two people together. It's so different when
Right.
you had this from your idea. I have this idea of marriage versus what's the reality of marriage is two different things, and those are the things you have to work through. So it really counts, making sure that you're friends and you get along and you like each other, because there are some things you're gonna have to work through when you feel at odds with each other. You know, you need to have a good foundation to say, okay, this is what we really want to do, because we're gonna have to work through some things to get to the 22 years.
Right,
Right.
right. No, that's real.
Mm-hmm.
That is real, and I think definitely when we were coming in, I would say this, and now just full transparency, we're still not fully on the same page on the financials or whatever. We're in a better place, but we're getting there. But it's still that challenge in different things or whatever of stuff. And be honest, like I'm almost at that point of where, because my wife is way better at money than I am. I have things that I know we need to talk about to like get over that final little hurdle or whatever.
Hmm.
But it's one of those things like I just want to make the money and please manage it. Cause I'm like I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Like just please manage it. Cause I'm because I can get scatterbrained because I'm an innovator. So my brain can be everywhere. And one of the things that irritate me the most is to miss paying something and I had the money. And I will
Yeah.
absolutely miss paying something and I had the money. Right? Like the money
Oh,
is there.
yeah. Yeah.
and I miss paying it because I was like, oh, I thought it was on this date. I just is like, man, now I got to pay a late fee or whatever. So I definitely can understand that, and that financial piece and how you come up and those things can 100% be. But also, where my wife and I, we just had something this evening, and we hadn't had a chance to talk about it. This is the first time we're going to talk about it right here live on air. So
Uh-oh.
we had to just buy a new water heater. So we went to Home Depot, and when you're scanning out, it says, "Would you like to add a 5-year warranty on it?" Right, and it's $75 extra, 75. And my wife looking at me like, but if the thing goes bad, you ain't got to pay for another one, $75,
No, I,
and we got $75.
Yeah.
I was leaving it up
No,
to
you weren't
you.
leaving it. I got the look that I dare not. I better not say approve on that thing. Decline, decline, decline.
No, he could have. That was just
And I
my
would have heard about it.
my look was for do you think we really need it? So if he thought we really needed it, I would have been fine. But I am that person just like, oh, how many days do we have? Can I think about this? Let me see what all this is gonna cover. For that kind of money.
Unless it's something you want to do. Because we had that. We got this potential thing or event or something she want to go to this for creators and stuff, and all of a sudden it is like, oh, well, babe, we don't even know if we're gonna go. This a trip to Washington D.C. We need to, but so see that contradict what she just said. But
Kind of, sort of, because I didn't get the VIP.
she went and brought the two $10, and then if we can go on the trip, I want to be in the
See,
VIP,
I
which is a
just want to
hundred
be in the
dollars.
building.
Listen, she say that, but we just came from the Next Level Speakers Conference, and if it was up to my wife, we would not have had VIP because that VIP was about $500 some. We wouldn't have had that. My wife would have said, "Let's get to 97 where we just in the room," but she so much enjoyed the VIP
I
or
did.
whatever. But we wouldn't have got that. So that difference in
Yeah.
mindset on different
Yeah.
stuff and fun and stuff like that, I'm just like, there's certain things you just have to invest in and
Hmm.
go for it. Um, I want to pivot a little
Yeah.
bit. We've all had tough time in marriage, and I definitely want to ask y'all about that. But because we know y'all have a unique way of sorting through things. I don't know what y'all call it. I don't call it um, beat our feet until we can agree. I don't know what y'all call it. I mean, I, I don't know, but y'all do have a unique way of going about, kind of having y'all's conversations and talk and these type of things. And I like y'all to just share that with other couples, kind of y'all's approach to problem solving and how it's like beneficial on multiple levels.
You want to go there?
Okay. Yeah, so we committed ourselves to walking and talking. So every day we try to make an effort to go for a walk for 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, depending on how much we have to say. So, and sometimes it can just be and the good thing about it is we get away from the house, and when we're doing this walk, we don't have the distraction. So the kids are not there, the dog is not there. We don't have phones, you don't have the television. So that's beneficial, being away from the home, being away from distractions and all those gadgets put away. So when we're talking, we pretty much start off with how did your day go, how did my day go, and then if there's a individual issue, you can be like, this is something that's really bothering me, and it might be something with the job, something with the kids, etc. And then we'll kind of go through different topics, and we're walking, we're on that walk, and we're talking. And sometimes if we are frustrated about something, by the time you do that 1 mile walk, you'll be like, okay, I feel relief. I feel less anxiety. I feel less frustration, and it gives it also opportunity to share how you feeling and be heard. So when we're walking and talking, and I'm saying how I'm feeling, he's just listening. He's just lending a listening ear, and then he'll give his once I get it all out, and then he'll jump in and say, well, this is what I want to encourage you to, be, don't get discouraged. It's a hang in there. Or he might express his feelings about something, maybe we're talking about the kids, or maybe we're talking about our jobs, or maybe we're talking about our future. But it's just something about just getting clarity and just that exercise in, and it just you feel better physically, and then just the clarity just in your mind, just a sense of peace comes after you get all that stuff out. Because if not, a lot of times when you go to bed, you just can have a lot of stuff in your mind, and if you don't either put it on paper or talk to someone about it, it's going to stay in your mind. And so then it's hard to settle in for the night. And then you're dreaming about it, or you're thinking about it, and you're tossing and turning. But it's so good to just empty out about how you're feeling and those emotions, and just kind of getting things out and being heard and not distracted and interrupted, with the everyday life stuff. So it's been very beneficial for us to get through, and sometimes we might just have a disagreement with each other, to just I'm going to listen to you and let you talk and hear you out, and then I give some input, and just it just brings so much more clarity and bring peace. And then you finishing your day with a workout, you physically just feel, whenever you exercise, you just physically feel better, and you just emotionally or mentally just feel so much better when you're able to have those hard conversations sometimes, or just be able to vent sometimes. And sometimes you want to just be heard and no comment made. And then sometimes you are looking for an encouraging word. So we will give that to each other. And sometimes we've actually watched sometimes you'll have a topic and online, and we'll watch that topic, and we'll be like, okay, oh, this is a good topic. And we'll go on our walk, and whatever topic you had, we'll just kind of give our input. It's like, oh man, that was a good topic. This is how I felt about it. And then he'll give his input, yeah, because XYZ or what have you. Or sometimes it's a book that we'll read, and we'll kind of join in and have a book, and then the different topics from that book will have something to talk about. So it's not like, just because sometimes you don't have an issue or problem, but sometimes it gives good conversation reading the book, or what's going on, and just kind of investing in your marriage, and just investing in each other, and just taking that time away. And it's just, and to do it every day. I mean, I know life gets busy, but to put that time aside every day to have no distractions and talk to each other has just really been beneficial to our marriage, and solving problems and feeling better about different things. It really makes a difference. And so if you can't walk, maybe it's just go sit in the car, or sit outside on your porch, or just whatever it takes to get rid of those distractions that you had at one-on-one time every single day. It really makes a difference, and you just don't feel bombarded by the world. And before you know it, you two are drift. You become each other's enemy instead of each other's friend. So that's what's very beneficial about the walking and talking that we take daily, which I would encourage anybody to do, and you'll really see a difference in your marriage and your closeness, and being able to connect every day. It's really really important for growth.
Yeah, I think also, and I think something that I don't know where I heard this from before, but some guy told me one time. Sometimes you got to listen to hear. And when I used to think about those things, and I didn't understand what was going on, and all these type of things, but sometimes I just got to listen and
Mhm.
hear what she's saying.
Mhm.
And when I did that, I kind of just took that, and we were on our walks. I would just listen to her and hear what she's saying, and I kind of say, well, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. Maybe that did bother you, or if I took it the wrong way, and those things there. So that's what the walks do for me, is just help me to understand her more of what that situation that we're going through. So that's and then also it helps me uh, with my health as well. So physically, it's a really good thing to do that walking also.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I tell you, I think at when we do our next marriage conference, we might have to have y'all. Or I don't know who want to take the stage, but I think that's a topic that no pun intended has legs,
Mhm.
because it just gives people a creative way, and I can understand it. It gives you a separation. Like you can kind of like when we're here, we're cut off from everything else, and it gives us a safe place to talk, or to to get it in, or what have you. And so that thank you for sharing. Thank you
Right.
for sharing.
I like it. I've already given it a name, the marriage workout, because when you say
Oh,
it is like working out, actually.
it
And so
is.
sometimes in that communicating, because you don't know what you're going to talk about, it could be tough, but it's making you better. And
Hmm.
sometimes, when you go to work out, it's like, oh, do I really want to do this walk? You got to push yourself a little bit. Do I really want to lift this weight? Once you start, it's like, oh, okay, it gets easier or it gets better. And so I really like that. I call it the marriage workout. So,
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a name.
There you go. That work on so many different levels of branding. Yeah, yeah. That the marriage workout, because it is. It's not. Somebody will hear it and like, oh, we finna see how to lift weights as a couple. Not like, nah. This we working it out. We walking it out. So nah, that's powerful. That's powerful. Um. So let me and we promise not to keep y'all for more than an hour. That's the game plan. It's 45 minutes to an hour because it's late night. And but just as we go through marriage, we have our ups and downs. Talk about kind of I guess the heart of your marriage during the great times and maybe the heart of your marriage during the rough times. For example, I know, and I've told Tamika, and it's something that I'm working on in a husband coaching course I'm putting together. That in the toughest parts of our marriage, at least for me, I know it's when I was maybe at the peak of my selfishness, right? So just talk to us a little bit about like the hard, and if you have particular things you want to point out, or circumstances, or not even circumstances, situations that you like want to highlight that, then do that. But just talk to us about like those good times and then dealing with those tough times.
You wanna take it?
Yeah,
I
you go
started.
ahead.
I started off.
Go ahead.
So of course, when there's good times, we tried our best to always celebrate even the smallest things. And for example, my husband, he's getting his master's degree with FAMU, and he told me I'm not going to walk. It's just another degree. I have degrees and I walk. And I was like, no, I don't care if you were getting a certificate. We're
mm,
going to celebrate it like it's the biggest win ever. And for you, this is a big win. And so, it takes sacrifice, it takes commitment. And as a family, that is something we're going to celebrate. I want you to walk. I want to have a party or whatever with the family and celebrate this moment. To you, you might say, oh, it's just just another degree, no big deal. But all your wins, big wins, small wins, to just celebrate each other and let each other know, we are proud of you, and that's with each other or with your children or just in your family, your home. Celebrating the big wins, make you more appreciative and give you something to look forward to. And it lets the other person know that, I support you, I believe in you, I know that you can do it, and that, you know we just want the best for each other, to have the best for each other. And then, when it's the tough times that we've had to go through, we talked about finances, but also the challenges with our children. We've gone through different phases with our children, from the infancy into adolescence and preteens and our adulthood. It's a challenge. It's a really
Right.
big challenge. But when you're going through those challenges, we have to remind each other we're on the same team. Because sometimes with your kids, they're like, let me go to mom or let me go to dad. It's like, no, no, no. We're on the same team. We're speaking the same things, believing the same things. We're pushing for the same things. We can't let our circumstance, finances, to separate us. We're on the same team. We've got to have the same goal and not give up on each other. And also not get distracted by social media. Because I
mm,
think our other people, because sometimes, especially like as a Christian, you go to church and you see other people and you be like, oh, they got that perfect marriage. That would be my goal. Or social media be like, oh, they're doing better than us. You have to keep your eyes off other people and kind of see, you're the blessing that God gave to me, and we're going to celebrate each other, and we're not going to compare ourselves to other people. This is our journey, our path. And
mm,
you don't know what somebody's going through behind a closed door, so don't compare your situation. You don't know if they really are happy or not happy, or what they've gone through, or you don't know what suffering they've taken place to get to the happiness and get to the joy of marriage. So when you're going through those hard times, extending grace
mm,
and extending compassion is a big one. And then once you do that, then you can forgive. You can say, well, I said something that hurt your feelings and I didn't realize it. But when you have that compassion and also unconditional love, that's something that you learn, through marriage, how to have unconditional love, to love you at your worst, at your best. It's easy. It's real easy to love a person when they're like, they check off the box. As a husband, I want you to do this, 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 this. And when you can check off the boxes, you be like, I love you. Hey, you're great. You're wonderful. But what about when you're not checking off the boxes, or I'm not checking off the boxes, to still say, but I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to show compassion. I'm still going to show unconditional love. And of course, you don't get there overnight. You have to learn to get there. You have to grow to get there. You
Mm-hmm.
fail and then you get back up and you get there. So it's just a constant mindset that I'm married. I want to be married. I want to stay married, and I want to have a healthy marriage. And so that's something you always have to be willing to fight for. And
Right.
even with fighting, I would like to say that sometimes the fight, one of you have to be strong enough to fight, because what happens when the other person isn't strong enough to fight? They're weak and they're going through something or having a setback in life, and one of you have to be willing to fight, not fight for the marriage. So when I'm in my time of weakness, he can say, you know what, I'm strong enough to fight for the both of us. Or the other, on the other hand, he's going to hit through his setbacks and downfalls, and I have to say, you know what, you don't have to fight today. I'm going to fight for the both of us. So somebody has to have some fight in them. Both of us want to come to the table strong, boxes of greatness checked off. But there are times that one is strong when one is weak, and one needs to be, when somebody's weak, somebody else is strong. So that's something you have to see, in each other, and in investing in each other. And I have to say also, we did some conferences that I give you all credit to. Going to investing in your marriage is a really big one. You
Right.
have to invest in your marriage, and that is reading books, reading articles, going to church together, praying for each other, praying together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Something that you have to do to get you through the tough times, to get you through those hard times. Because if you do that, then you're putting, you're keeping your cup from going empty. You just keep putting something in there, so your cup won't run, your well won't run dry, and you feel like you got to find someone else or something else. The job, the kids. You're gonna find something to fill a void. If you have that void in the marriage, you will find something else to fill that void. So you have to keep putting something in the cup, the marriage cup.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I'll
Agreed.
let my husband add to
Yeah,
that.
and I think also, like the echo what she just said, investing in your marriage, because sometimes when you go to different conferences, you see that, or sometimes when you're in situations, you feel like I'm all by myself.
Yeah.
I messed up or I did this. But when you go to different conferences, you see some of those speakers and those individuals that's up there speaking on those things. They went through some of the same things that you're going through, and
Right.
they'll say how you can overcome these things. Because sometimes people just give up on things, be like, oh, I'm by myself and nobody's gonna do this or do that. But when you're investing in your marriage and you go to those conferences, somebody's there to help you and let you know you can go through this. It's gonna be all right. There's a way that you can get through these things, and that's what it really helped me in this marriage, that let me know, to say, hey, you know what, you're not by yourself. You can get over these things. Because I think one of the tough times is, like we say, selfishness. I was selfish on a lot of ways. Financially, I thought it was all about me. I didn't think that I have to support this and that. And, you look at different television shows and you see different things, but I had to get out of myself and know that it was not just about me, it's about my family. As
Mm-hmm.
being a husband, I want to be there to be a supporter and a provider for my family. But in that selfishness that I had in my heart, I couldn't do those things. But so going to those conferences and talking to people and listening to different podcasts, and you guys, with your marriage refresh, well, that was a pivotal time in our marriage, and it really helped us, and it gave us a whole lot of topics to go over while we walked and talked and everything, and it was really beneficial to us. And I think that was how you can get over those tough times also.
Amen. Amen. I know that those tough times, because I think people look at it and they get caught up in the years, but then you
Mm-hmm.
have to start thinking about the quality of
Mm-hmm.
the years, right? We could get to 50 years, but it could have been 49 years of trash, right? And really, the last good year we had was the first year.
Mm.
And so, I think that a lot of times people get caught up on that. And I don't know if people have as the old folks used to say, the stick to it is that they have, that it requires to have a marriage that, I mean, if you look at it, when we hit 25 and you guys are right on our heels, we've been married almost a quarter century, right? And that's huge. But there's a lot that went in that to just even make the years. But there were definitely some years that were not quality years in there, right? And
Yeah.
Mm.
so you think through that, and you're like, man, I people are like you. I want your marriage. Do you? Can you
Mhm.
go through the fire? Can you drink from this cup? You know, we can go all Jesus on them, right? Can you drink from this cup? Because this cup is not, marriage is for grown folks. Marriage is for
Yep.
grown folks. So that is important. Go ahead. Huh?
I like what Shell was saying or Michelle was saying about celebrating all of like the small things and the victories and the wins because that is important, and I think a lot of times as you mature in the marriage and you've gone through those tough times, those small things or small wins, or even if they're big, stands out more. So it's like we really want to celebrate this, because you see from how far you've come. And so I've heard other couples who've been married for quite a while sometimes too, really say, in the beginning we really didn't celebrate like our anniversaries or certain things as much as we do now, especially if it was like we both were okay if we had something else scheduled on that day or something like that, but not actually setting that time apart to be like, no, we need to celebrate us, and be intentional about it. And I think a lot of times, once you've gone through those tough times, you really appreciate those good times and the communication and the growth. And you go like, no, we're going to celebrate us because we deserve to.
Yeah,
So I was really loving when you was talking about that.
absolutely, absolutely. Give me, give us one of the funniest moments in y'all's marriage.
Oh, Lord.
Mm. Fun.
Oh, Lord.
Not the donut, not donut.
What's
You,
another?
You didn't need any help, so he's trying
No, I
to.
just messing with
You
you.
teasing.
John Paul.
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
I don't know. Funniest.
A memorable moment. Give us a memorable
No.
moment. Maybe it wasn't funny, but it was really memorable.
Let's see. So many memories.
So many.
Yeah. I would have to say when 2010, when she graduated from pharmacy school, was a memorable moment for us because she went through so much during pharmacy. And my goal for her for pharmacy is when we got married, everybody said, "Are you real? Do you really want to get married? You're just going to pharmacy school. He gonna ruin everything for you. You're not gonna graduate." And my main focus was to prove everybody wrong
Mm,
that she could marry me, have the kids, have 5 kids, and still graduate. That was the toughest, probably some of the toughest. What was that? 10 years.
Yeah.
It took 10 years, 12 years,
Yeah.
12 years for her to graduate. But when she walked across that stage on May 1st, 2010, that was probably one of the most memorable moments that I had in our marriage with us because I felt an accomplishment that she did it. So I could look at people and say, "Yeah, y'all thought she wasn't gonna make it. Y'all
right.
thought this old fella was gonna stop her, but she made it anyway." So that
Right.
was probably a memorable moment for me.
Right. That's awesome. That's powerful now.
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
powerful because, and you bring up something in that, and we face this a little bit in our marriage from different places. Is you would think that you would have a lot of people who are rooting for your success,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but you have a lot of people that you never expected who are
Mm-hmm.
rooting against your marriage. They're waiting on your
Mm-hmm.
marriage to fail
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
order. I don't know what satisfaction they get out of it or whatever, because you didn't marry who they thought that you should marry, whatever that case may be. And sometimes that me against the world, us against the world mentality really does kick in. We don't believe in ride or die because we want to live. So this is my ride and live chick, right?
Used to be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't doing that ride or die stuff. That's nonsense. That's foolish. But having that when you have to like lock in and like
Mhm.
even beyond, even though I know you said the word like proving it to people, there's a part of us that are proving it to ourselves that we can make it, because honestly there are those moments you doubt, like, did we get this right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did I marry the right
Mhm.
person? You know, maybe the people was right. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to keep pushing and fighting to really to prove it, sometimes even to yourself, that
Right.
yeah, we made the right
Yeah.
choices, because nothing's going to be perfect.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah. So I know we're getting close to the end, and this I got two questions left. I'm gonna start with y'all. The title of this episode is Radical Marriage. I thought that was an interesting word because of what radical means, right? When you think Jesus was radical, he did something completely different, completely new. He took it to the mat. He proved it on the cross. Why radical marriage? Because every guest that we get, we're going to ask them, like, give us the word, because that's going to probably be somewhere in the title. Give us the word of 3 words that you would say summarize your marriage. Why the word radical?
So the reason we're radical is because we've had an untraditional marriage that has stood the test of times and had to rise above the odds. So we had more against us than
Mm-hmm.
for us at the beginning. So
Mm-hmm.
we were young. I was in school. It wasn't ideal. This is
Mm-hmm.
not the idea. Like my husband said, people kept asking, like, "Are you really going to get married and you have a child? You really going to get married? You're trying to finish school. Being married is being having a husband is going to be a burden with a child. Trying to do that and finances." So we had so much going against us, and we were like, "We're going to do it. We're going to do it." And we went in with not a lot. We didn't have a lot, but we had a dream. We just had this dream, like we have this plan in our heads. We were up against. We had to look beyond the reality of, like, okay, if you wrote everything down on paper and had that checklist, we wasn't checking off all the boxes. Ideally, when you're getting married, having that stability and financial stability and all these plans or what have you. But it was like, what, we're going in based on faith. We
Mm-hmm.
had faith, and we had a dream, and we had a vision board, and we didn't know that it wasn't going to happen. It didn't go the way we planned. We had this idea, well, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to finish. I had a timeline. We wrote down the timeline, and we're going to do it by this time. And we were supposed to have 2 children. We're supposed to have, we have one daughter, we're going to have a son, and we're going to have that perfect number. And when I finish school, then you're going to finish school, and by this timeline, then we're going to buy this house, and we're going to do, just had it all mapped out, not knowing that reality is going to kick in. But
Right.
yet, we had to rise above the odds that was against us from day one. So every day, every month, every year, we had to show up for each other, support each other, and rise above those odds to say 22 years. And we look at each other and be like, and we're still here, and we're still standing in spite of all that was against us from the very beginning, all the way through those 22 years. And we're here still standing and still fighting for the marriage. So that's why the word radical came about.
Okay, I
That's
love
good.
that.
That's
All of
good.
that. All of that. I gotta pull my arm. All of I love that. I love that, and I think that that's great encouragement for some
Mm-hmm.
couples out there, to really like hear that, because the struggle that we're in right now, as far as the mission that Tamika and I know that we have set in front of us is reestablishing biblical marriage. There are a lot of great, and I've even done it. Like I had to go back and repent to God on some things. Like there are a lot of great marriage advice that sounds good when you say it, right?
Mhm.
But it is trash because it's only trash because it doesn't stand on the word. I heard a guy say something the other day, and one of the things he said, he was like, "Yeah, my wife is stronger than me. You know, it takes strength to beat a neck in order to turn your head, and it takes strength to submit. And so she's stronger than me." And I was like, and everybody was, "Yeah, look," and they were clapping. And I said, "Well, there's a problem with what he's saying when I take it back and measure it against the Bible. If your wife is stronger than you because of the strength it takes her to submit to your leadership, then there's a problem because that means that you're not having, because it takes something to submit to Jesus. So
Mhm.
if you're not submitted as a husband to Jesus, then you're telling me your wife is stronger than you because you're out of order."
Mm.
Mhm.
Now, that sounds good. Everybody's applauding it until you start measuring it, because it should not be easy. It should not be difficult for my wife to submit to me if I'm submitted to Christ, right? Her struggling to submit to me, or it being hard for her to submit, is usually going to be in direct proportion to my submission to Christ. Now, I can be fully submitted to Christ and she still struggles with it, because sometimes when you're a husband submitted to Christ, there's certain things that is like, nah, we can't do that. That's not in the plan. And that's
Right.
part of that leadership. So love that radical marriage. Um, so here's the fun question. Y'all had to, and listen, man, I can't tell you what not to say. I know you the president of the fan club.
Oh, whoa.
But and maybe one of them songs gonna be in there. But if y'all had to y'all were building a soundtrack to your marriage, I know it'd be more than 3 songs, but what 3 songs would make the cut for the soundtrack, the Broxton marriage soundtrack? Y'all getting ready to go into 23 years, and y'all are making a soundtrack for your marriage. What's at least 3 songs that make the cut? And y'all can both do 3, because I'm sure it'll be more but what's 3 songs that would make the cut?
Go ahead. You
All
can help
right,
me with
for
mine.
my three, um, I'm a big Babyface fan. So, when I was younger, they said I used to look like Babyface. So, but my
You ain't gonna
three,
live that down, bro. You ain't gonna live that down. Not with me. You ain't
but
gonna live that down now. All right.
my first one would start off would be, it's a song by Babyface called Sunshine,
Uh
and
huh.
it just basically just the details how I feel about my wife. Another one would be Don't Change by Music Soul Child. And the last one would be Remember the Time by Michael Jackson.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I
those are
hear you.
good.
I hear
Good.
you. I don't know 2 of them songs, but yes, that last one, I got it. I got it. No, I'm messing with you. Yeah.
No
I,
Mary J. Blige in there now.
bro, look at you. Hey,
You know he was itching to say it.
hey,
I know he
I
was
didn't even
itching.
say it. I didn't even say it, man. All right, this Broxton.
Okay. So what? He's gonna have to help me because I always mess this up. So one is what roller coaster?
Roller Coaster by Babyface and
Tony
Tony
Braxton.
Braxton.
Is that Tony Braxton and Babyface,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
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 yeah.
roller
yeah. I
coaster.
like
That's
that
a
one.
good one. And then the September one. What's that called?
This one's for Me and You by Johnny Gill and New Edition.
This one's for me and you. But
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
okay, all right. I have to look that one up because
Now
that's
the reason she chose that is because they say, "Do you remember the day in September
When we fell in love.
when we fell in love?" Get it?
And that's the
And
uh,
that's when we
what
got
we
married
married.
in
oh, look at
September.
that, look at that,
So,
sweet. All right, what's the third one?
The wedding one.
oh, and Casey and JoJo, All My Life.
Ah, that was
We
our win.
have something in common.
That's our win song. That's
Yeah.
our win song.
Oh, Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like.
that's what we she she when we got married,
I'll use
she
that one.
said, I want somebody to play that with that song at
Yeah.
our marriage. And
Yeah.
that was one of our songs
Yeah.
also.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Nah, that's awesome. That's awesome right there. Yeah, all my life. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. We have to think about our soundtrack. We hadn't even answered that question for ourselves, but
No, we haven't.
yeah, yeah.
That would probably be one of the songs, maybe.
Maybe for you. Yeah, maybe for you. So yeah.
Well, we have to go back to it sometimes, when you're having those tough days or
Uh-huh.
whatever. Be like, oh, okay, this helps us out. Let's
Yeah.
listen to that song.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. For me, what would make my soundtrack would probably be "Sucker for Love" by Tupac. That probably make it on there. Um, what's the song um, by John B? They don't know. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I
Yeah.
think I think that would probably make my cut. I think that would probably make my cut. And I think four seasons or the four season or whatever by Boys to Men
Mhm.
would probably make my cut. Those
yeah.
those those three songs would probably make my cut. I have definitely a lot because I had to. You know what? If I could give a 3B, it would probably be Jagged Edge. I gotta be.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah. I think those would be my top four songs and stuff. So yeah, listen, we have enjoyed you all. Y'all bless the people, the couples that will see this in the future with a marriage nugget from each one of you, just from a wife's perspective and a husband's perspective, a nugget that you'd like to leave with couples who are seeking to have that long, radical marriage.
You want to go?
Oh, I would just say, just be true to each other. Um, be be true to each other. Always talk. Communication is the key within the marriage. If somebody, and like we said, I always try to tell my wife, never try to go to bed mad. We got to talk this thing out because that's the only way you're gonna get through it is by talking it out. And
Mhm.
always say I love you before you go to sleep. And that's how I would. That would be the things that I would say, and just continue to invest in your marriage every day.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, for myself, I would say have fun. That's something that's important. Be each other's friend and have fun because that'll also get you through the tough times. Because when you like each other and you having fun, you can get through things when you're my friend.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I think that's a very good thing to have that when your husband, your wife is your friend, it does make a difference that, I like you, you like me. We're going through something right now. But at the end of the day, I can laugh with you, be silly with you, because life's gonna throw some big things at you and you need someone that you can turn to and say, hold my hand, rub my back, and say, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna be okay. And to make each other laugh and to, dance in the rain and just have a good time. Something that we do. Me and my husband, he'll sing to me or something in the living room. We'll just dance with each other, and the kids were like, oh, the old people, are so, oh, y'all just so silly. But you do. You need to just be silly and have fun because life gets hard and tough, and if you can't enjoy it, what's the point? What's the purpose? So, just being able to be friends and being able to have fun, and of course, putting God first and pray together and pray for each other and cover each other in prayer and hold on to your faith and be and know that it's team husband and wife. Things gonna be thrown at you, but you are a team and you stick together as a team and you go through things as a team, not one against each other or being competitive against each other or feel like it's a race or trying to prove each other wrong. But no, it's team Broxton. With the kids, no, it's team Broxton. With family members, it's team Broxton. Like whatever you're facing is
Yeah.
team. Your marriage is your team. So
Right.
those are words of encouragement. And also, I want to say, have accountability partners or accountability friends, or
Uh,
even the professionals to in marriage, and don't wait till something goes wrong. That
Right.
should be continuous. That should be ongoing. That you have people around you to keep you accountable. Because if you're around other people that value marriage, it's going to encourage you to invest in your marriage and to put your all into your marriage. And they're going to encourage you and not discourage you. You know, I wouldn't let my husband talk to me that way, or are you a woman? You put your pants on just like your husband. You have those people out there that'll pull away from marriage, but you want to talk to people that say, no, make sure you listen to each other, make sure you pray for each other. And they're giving you an encouraging word to stay and encourage you to be married. So accountability partners are very important in your marriage, and getting counseling throughout your marriage and not wait until things get bad.
That's good stuff.
yeah,
That's good
it
stuff.
is. It is.
Hey, we appreciate y'all. We completely that somebody did submit a question during the week, and we were gonna have y'all answer it. But you know what? Y'all been so good, so gracious. We we'll have to catch that on another time. But listen, we thank you for being our first ever guest.
Thank
We
you.
plan on putting the work in to really grow this because we want to help marriages. And as you guys continue to grow and blossom, and we go on this journey, do not be surprised if the riches don't ask y'all to come take the stage and talk to these people, because it is necessary out there, and we just got to have these conversations. And so we thank you for sharing your life with us and all that
Yes.
will see this. And we look forward to maybe having y'all on again or taking the stage together. So we're looking forward to that.
All right. Continue to grow and just be who you are and encourage others. Yeah, because a lot of times we wish people many more years, but I like to wish people many more happy years, intentional years, growth, flourish, all of the things. So
Yeah.
we wish you those things. Go be great.
Go be great. Absolutely. So we thank y'all for joining us tonight. Listen on this episode of Late Night Marriages with the Riches. And we had the Broxtons coming in here and really dropping some nuggets. Make sure you share this video with friends, family, and others who are looking to build their marriage and take it to the next level. So listen, until next time, God bless.
God
Good
bless.
night.
Good
Thank
night,
All right.
you.
guys. Thank you.
All right.